Have you ever felt like the more you give, the less you're appreciated? You say yes to helping your friends, stay late at work to cover for others, and lend an ear to everyone's problems, but somehow, you're still taken for granted. Why does your kindness make people pull away, or worse, disrespect you? C.S. Lewis, a literary genius and one of the sharpest minds in philosophy and religion, once wrote that virtues, when stretched too far, can become dangerous. Kindness is one of those virtues. When it is not paired with courage and wisdom, it can lose its value and make you vulnerable to exploitation. This isn't a call to become harsh, it's a call to redefine your kindness in a way that commands respect. Unchecked kindness is often born from a desire to be liked and accepted. Lewis understood this human need for connection and approval, but he warned about appeasement, the kind of nice that slowly eats away at your dignity. In the Screwtape Letters, he describes how small compromises can lead to spiritual defeat. When you say yes to avoid conflict, you may think you're creating peace, but in reality, you're handing over control. Imagine you have a friend who constantly asks for favors but never reciprocates. You agree to help because you want to be kind. But after a while, you notice that your friend expects your help rather than appreciating it. You've become a convenience, not a valued companion. Lewis would argue that true kindness requires courage, the courage to say, "I cannot do this right now," or "I deserve respect too." In fact, he believed that all virtues become stronger when tested. A kindness that always bends is not kindness at all, it's fear disguised as generosity. Lewis believed that humans are complex creatures, torn between noble instincts and selfish desires. He wrote that some people mistake gentleness for weakness, assuming that kind people will never fight back. But why does this happen? When someone sees that you're always available, they may assume that your time, energy, and emotions have no limits. Over time, they may begin to expect your kindness rather than appreciate it. This creates an unbalanced dynamic where your generosity is no longer seen as a gift but as an obligation. In the Screwtape Letters, Lewis illustrates how even good intentions can be manipulated. Screwtape, a devilish mentor, advises his apprentice to keep humans so busy being nice that they forget to live authentically. Lewis is warning us, don't let kindness turn into something that robs you of your identity. If you notice that you're always the one apologizing or fixing things, even when you're not at fault, it's time to reassess. Kindness doesn't mean taking responsibility for everyone's happiness. Ask yourself, am I giving because I want to or because I'm afraid of the consequences of saying no? C.S. Lewis once said, integrity is doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. Part of integrity is knowing when to say no, not out of selfishness, but out of self-respect. Saying no doesn't mean you're unkind, it means you value your own well-being enough to set boundaries. Lewis believed that every virtue requires balance. Just as courage is needed to confront fear, kindness needs self-respect to remain pure. Consider someone who constantly asks for your time, even when you're overwhelmed. A kind response could be, "I'd love to help, but I need to take care of some things first." This shows that you respect their needs without sacrificing your own peace. When you set boundaries, people may react negatively at first, especially if they've benefited from your selflessness. But over time, they will learn to respect you, or they will fade away, making room for healthier connections. How then can we be kind without being weak? Lewis believed that true kindness was about giving freely, not out of obligation. He warned against the false kindness that stems from guilt or fear of rejection. Instead, he encouraged practicing kindness from a place of strength. Know your limits, it's okay to say, "I need rest," or "I need time to think." Communicate clearly, to let people know what you can and cannot do. Be kind to yourself first. When you respect your own boundaries, others will follow suit. Inspirational quote, "Do not let your happiness depend on something you may lose." C.S. Lewis. This means that your kindness should come from a place of confidence, not a fear of being unloved. To summarize, C.S. Lewis taught us that kindness is a gift, not a burden. When paired with courage and self-respect, it becomes an unshakable force for good. The next time someone makes you feel guilty for setting boundaries, remember that true kindness includes being kind to yourself.